There is no doubt that Justin Baldoni supporters are breathing a sigh of relief this morning because Bryan Freedman, his lawyer, just declared last night that Justin Baldoni is refusing to settle. That's right, we're going all the way to court, folks, with Blake Lively, and he is fighting tooth and nail until the very end, until he gets the righteous verdict he deserves. And if you were appalled by Blake Lively's victory lap, it's because you should be. Because this case, well, it's not about Chanel pony shows and Saturday Night Live appearances or trying to turn a harassment claim into a mockery for all women. No, this is about one thing, and that's one thing only: truth. And whether someone who was wrongfully accused can defend himself without being destroyed in the process. We've got a lot to get to. Let's get into it.
Show me life, show me love, make it change. Time is up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Ashley BTV. I'm a former TV news reporter who takes you behind the headlines. If you're into pop culture deep dives and getting to the truth behind the news, do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button. Help us reach our next milestone of 10,000 subscribers. We appreciate your support. Megyn Kelly, while literally on vacation in Europe, just stopped everything to sit down for a 1-hour debrief with Bryan Freedman, who is so hard, by the way, to obviously get to do an interview, but he just so happens to also be her attorney. She's an attorney, so they can talk all that legal jargon, and we're here to make sense of it all. Well, he did not hold back, and he reminded us what got us here in the first place. Blake Lively cried sexual harassment in a CRD complaint, a bogus one, according to Freedman, to distract from how poorly she promoted It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence that she sold as a big, beautiful summer rom-com. And then, of course, the internet turned on her. But it couldn't have been her fault, so she had to point the finger to who? Justin Baldoni, the director and her co-star. So here's what's really going on behind the scenes that Freedman discussed with Megyn Kelly. We're going to break it all down. The judge dismissed Baldoni's defamation countersuit, but not because he was wrong. It was because Blake's legal team used the California statute, section 47.1, that essentially says if someone accuses you of sexual harassment, you can't sue them for defamation unless you can prove actual malice, which we went over in my previous videos. But it gets worse because according to this brand new statute, if your defamation case is dismissed under this statute, you could be forced to pay up to 3 times your accuser's legal fees. So if you think about it, and her legal fees is about $5 million, that could be $15 million that Baldoni has to pay. Well, Freedman explained this law was designed for good intentions to protect real victims, but when it's misused, like Blake Lively's doing, it punishes the wrong people. In his words, he says sometimes the law doesn't take into account morality, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with Blake Lively. Bryan Freedman said out loud what we were all thinking and laughing hysterically about, which is this is not a victory lap for Blake Lively. In fact, it's a premature pony show, and she shouldn't have done it, honestly, because she's going to look like a fool when justice is actually served, because karma always wins in the end. And while Blake Lively continues to hit the red carpet with her famous friends, Baldoni is literally fighting for his life and his reputation. And let's not forget, there's evidence. Oh boy, does she have it? No, it's his team that has all the evidence, voicemails, text messages, footage. And what was so sweet was hearing Freedman tell Megyn Kelly, oh, you think there's footage? You think it was just that one scene where Blake Lively said, oh my God, I have the scene. He made me feel uncomfortable, clearly. And then of course, Freedman and his team point out the exact scene because Video Village captures absolutely everything. And you saw on film for us all to analyze, he did nothing wrong. You said, oh, my tan smells weird. He goes, oh, I think you smell great. What else are you going to do? You're playing the love interest, you weirdo. Yeah, it's really wonderful. This case is so wonderful because, as Freedman points out in this interview, all of the evidence is on his side. And honestly, if we didn't have this evidence, if we didn't have the internet sleuths, and we're going to get to how you and I have played a part in this from the beginning, then it really shows you how the Hollywood elite just take a story and make it corrupt and corrupt everything and try to manipulate everything and destroy innocent lives in the process. Well, I'm so excited because Freedman says, get ready. There is lots more video evidence. And he says, oh, we are going to be prepared. And let's not forget, she dropped the claim of mental distress because she refused to provide medical records and actual evidence. She continues to believe that she lives above the law. And maybe thus far in this world, she has. Like, that's probably the case. That's why she thought, I'm just going to make these claims so that I can protect myself. And we're just going to move on in this world. And little Baldoni, number 2 on the call sheet, isn't going to fight back. Well, let justice prevail, ladies and gentlemen, because Baldoni has Steve Sorowitz saying, here's $1 billion. Let's just fight this tooth and nail, because the Hollywood elite is not going to win in the end. And Bryan Freedman made one thing very clear, and that was Blake Lively didn't just file a legal complaint. She launched a campaign, and the internet saw right through it, and she truly believed that she was above the law. He credited online sleuths and said, well, the internet sleuths, they're amazing because they started releasing content showing Blake Lively's true character. And I'm sorry, Blake Lively, but this was you acting in these videos. And you could have been like an Anne Hathaway and said, you know what? That was such a bad day for me. He credits the Surety Flower interview where Surety go, congrats on your little bump. She's 8 months pregnant. Like, it's not even a little bump. Surety was so nice to even say, congrats on your very little bump. And she goes, congrats on yours. Not knowing also, not only is that statement cruel in and of itself, but that Surety also was experiencing infertility issues. So beyond cruel. And then you start seeing more videos where Blake Lively is honestly bragging on the stage of Forbes, saying that, yeah, you know what I like to do, ladies? Here's what you do. You pretend that you're just an actress on set, like, oh, I'm just a little blonde on set. And then you come in and people won't realize that you're going to just take over the entire film. Like, you admitted that on camera. So I'm sorry that now we have the tools and the resources to show what you have been doing all over behind the scenes. Like, if you're a bad person, it's going to come to life. So video interviews of you admitting that you tricked people into giving up creative control, well, those are going to come to light. Repeated interviews and footage showing that she pushed others out to take over the film. You know where it would have honestly been so amazing for us all to be in? That's Video Village. That's the area where you sit and you watch all the scenes going on. That's where you can see all of it. Like, you can see, you can hear, you're all wearing headphones. Like, being in Video Village is truly the best place to be, because you can hear what the actors are whispering behind the scenes. So I cannot wait for more witnesses to be deposed, and her being cruel to wait staff. I'm sorry. But again, Bryan and Megan say over and over again, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And Blake Lively continues to do so. She keeps trying to play the innocent card, wearing her white dresses, just being so nostalgic. Like, she loves to pretend that she's this still cool girl next door who's just our nostalgic bestie doing hot Pilates with us. But I'm sorry, Blake, time and time again throughout the years, not even just a one-time thing, you decide to be a terrible person. I think Baldoni says it's too hard for her to believe that people could dislike her based on her own character, and she couldn't handle it. So instead, she scrambled, she blamed others, and she spiraled into something just completely out of control. When do you ever see someone going on red carpets, he says, bringing their entire friend group to champion a case that hasn't even gone to trial yet? And this is what I think she's going to try to do. She's going to try to slowly back out of this. Well, guess what? Baldoni isn't, because he still has to fight for his life that you destroyed. So is, circling around red carpets good for your image when you're saying right now it's about family, it's about standing for women, it's about being solemn in this time? No, you are back to your disgusting little Gossip Girl days where you were acting like you're the queen of the show. This isn't your show. It never was. This was a disgusting, cruel campaign you launched against an innocent man. And I'm sorry that the internet is witnessing this in real time, and so many people just have receipts of you being a terrible person. So can you just take responsibility for your part in this? Blake Lively could have just been like an Anne Hathaway when it came to her treatment of Surety Flaw, which was Anne Hathaway had a bad interview many years ago, and she said, you know what? I'm really sorry. She had someone reach out to Surety Flaw. She wrote her paragraphs and paragraphs that she didn't even publish, that she could have published, and said, you know what? Look, Anne Hathaway responded. Everyone would have eaten that up, but she was a good person, because she is a good person. Anne Hathaway is taking responsibility. I wasn't nice back then. When people take responsibility, you listen. When people don't, and they decide to make a mockery of the entire world thinking that they live above the law, I'm sorry, but we're going to hold you accountable. It's 2025. Like, we have the resources to have the receipts, and we wouldn't have the receipts if you weren't acting like this. And let's just make one thing clear. This isn't about someone being canceled, right? It's about someone continuing to lie and manipulate over and over again. And unfortunately, there's dozens, if not hundreds of people who are coming on camera, who are getting a mic and saying, this is what happened. This is the truth. The internet sleuths. And Bryan Freedman says this with pride. He's like, they are amazing. And then her team in the media likes to like manipulate and say that these are a bunch of weirdos in their basements, just like investigating. They're not. They're journalists, they're lawyers, teachers, PR experts, casting directors, Hollywood insiders, moms, and neighbors. But we're all people who have been paying attention. And in this case, the collective honesty outweighs the cruelty. Here's my take on where her head's at. Blake Lively was this effortlessly cool it girl. I mean, everyone I knew loved her relationship with Ryan Reynolds. We'd see their tweets back and forth. They were funny. They were hot. They had 4 kids. They lived out and baked in the countryside of Bedford, New York, and they seemed like they didn't care about Hollywood. And it all honestly worked. It drew us to them, the mystery, the mystique, and it all worked because we couldn't see what was actually happening. We were blind, and now, my friends, we can see. And once you can see, you can't unsee. Even Megyn Kelly said, listen, it's hard to be a public figure. Not everyone can handle it. And maybe this is Blake Lively not handling it, because when the narrative is spiraling out of control, she has to find someone to blame. It can't be her natural personality that destroyed all these people's lives, and now they're just bringing it to light. They're saying, hey, this is what happened. And Justin Baldoni, unfortunately, was the victim to her narcissism. And I think because Justin Baldoni has built his whole brand on standing for women, standing up, being man enough, right? Of like, we have to say the hard things. We have to take accountability. She said he is the one that is going to fall on my sword. And guess what? He's like, not today, Satan. And guess what? Freedman isn't walking away, and neither is Baldoni. There are 4 amended claims on the table. 1, intentional interference with contract. 2, intentional interference with prospective economic advantage. 3, negligent interference. And 4, breach of the implied covenant of good faith. And next is Blake Lively's deposition, which could come as early as this month. Guys, I'm on vacation the last 2 weeks. I've been going to LA and Charlotte the last 2 weeks of the month. And you know, I just have to bring my gear with me. I have to be like Megyn Kelly. I have to stop everything on a European vacation, go, you know what? It's time to go live. It's time to go live and talk about this, because justice will be served for Justin Baldoni. Her deposition could also happen by mid-August, but let's just pray and hope to God it happens this month, because this isn't about headlines anymore. It's about facts. It's about truth. This is someone who destroyed someone else's career. And guess what? All of these media organizations who have clearly taken Blake Lively's side because they're scared of like being on the wrong side of this is like, did you even read the lawsuits? Did you even read the evidence? I'm sorry, but you have already been losing trust with all of us. And now you've lost trust with so many other people. The New York Times, a joke. And claiming sexual harassment without evidence, to me, that is malicious. That should be actual malice enough to show. Freedman says this was always about truth and facts, and that he loves this case. The sweetest words to come out of Bryan Freedman's mouth was, we love this case. We love it because it's all about truth and facts like any other case. And we have all the truth, facts, and the evidence. In fact, we put it all on a website. In fact, we'll continue to have more truth, facts, and evidence because Justin Baldoni is here for one reason, and that is to clear his name. Did he acquiesce her a little bit too much in her demands? Freedman says, yes, absolutely, because he was afraid. She was the quote-unquote B-list, A-list, whatever you want to call her, star on that set. She was the lead star on the set. She was a part of the reason the film was being made, and yet she's holding all of this above his head, so he knows, listen, I have to just keep giving into her. Like, you saw all the texts, all the emails from his producers, from editors that are saying, stop, Justin, please, we beg you, stop letting her have control. Like, if you give her a little bit, she's going to keep taking. You saw that she was changing the script daily, that she literally forced the edit out of the director's hands. I'm sorry, this gets me so riled up because Hollywood is not supposed to work like this. Like, this is not how a film set is run. That's why all my producer friends are like, what in the actual is going on? Like, this is not how a film set is run. Yet Justin felt like, I have to keep doing this because we just need this made. Like, we can't keep wasting $1 billion. She already blew her budget by like $1 billion. But it's very different to acquiesce with a diva actress's demands than actually sexually harassing them. Bryan Freedman says he has lost jobs, and this has affected his career at the moment. And I hope that his career just booms after this. Like, I want to work, Justin Baldoni. If you want me to be like a PA on your set, I will. Just say the words. Say the words. The beekeepers are there. And it's affected, of course, his self-esteem and his family and like how he's operating in this world. And I think what's so powerful is that we're seeing that Justin Baldoni, he stays strong in the truth. And when you have the truth in your heart and you just know that what your story is the facts, is the evidence. You don't have to go around, make a pony show on red carpets. It just is. You stand in it, you say the truth, and that is what he's doing. And he's taking the hard road and just staying silent and trusting that the legal system will have its way and that she'll have her way in court. He wants a chance in the courtroom and for a jury to be able to see the truth. And honestly, all of us do too. Justin, fight for cameras in the courtroom. Please, 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 please. He's not going on press tours. He's not dancing around on talk shows. He's fighting to clear his name. And the man representing him seems like he's the best in town. Like, I really respect Bryan Freedman. And he says they're ready to go all the way, not for clout, but for the verdict that should have been his all along. Megyn Kelly asks, don't you think that he's proven his innocence from all the evidence that's come out? And he said, no. He wants to be able to prove himself in the courtroom. He wants evidence to speak for himself. As he said, he loves their chances. The chances of settlement, he says, are next to zero. And oh, that got me going. I was so excited to hear that because he said he is going all the way. He is going to fight this fight forever. And he is going to make sure that the world knows that he did not engage in sexual harassment. Blake Lively has managed to unite the right and the left together because, again, it's really not about politics, of course. We can unite when we all can see the truth. And by the way, this isn't just about Justin Baldoni. He says that other people that have been thrown into lawsuit, like anyone around them, has been touched by this case. And people like Tag and Jen Abel, they want to be absolved by their peers, especially when people are going around making victory tours. He says, honestly, when she loses the case, she's probably even going to do a victory tour. He is in it through the jury verdict, and it's not just him who he's fighting for. And by the way, Bryan Freedman says, we don't even need the receipts from Taylor. So we honestly have enough evidence. So I love hearing this. He says he is in it through the jury verdict, and so are we. Join the beekeepers. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to be following this case to the very end. Justice for Justin Baldoni. Hey, let him know. Show your support in the comments. And what I love is Megyn Kelly says, hey, do you think you're going to try to pull more evidence from Taylor Swift? And he was so respectful. And he goes, you know what? I honestly don't even think we need to because we have so much evidence. A lot of my Hollywood friends go, I have never seen something so well documented ever on set. So this is going to be incredible. He is in it through the jury verdict, and so are we. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be following along on this case. Justice for Justin Baldoni. Hey, drop a comment. Show him your support. And also, what gets you so impassioned and fired up about this case? Definitely catch up on our latest deep dives, and I will see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Ciao. Woo!
Show me life, show me love.